Earth feels safe, but in reality, we live in a cosmic shooting gallery. Our planet, spinning quietly in the vastness of space, is constantly exposed to the unpredictable chaos of the universe. Above our heads, invisible to the naked eye, countless objects zip by at unimaginable speeds, each one a potential threat. The solar system is crowded with asteroids and comets, remnants from its formation, constantly crossing paths with planets. These ancient wanderers are leftovers from the birth of our solar system, fragments that never formed into planets. They drift in vast belts and clouds, sometimes pulled by gravity into new, unpredictable orbits. Sometimes, their orbits intersect with ours, making collisions inevitable. Over millions of years, Earth has been struck countless times, each impact a reminder of our planet's vulnerability. Even today, astronomers track thousands of near-Earth objects, watching for any that might be on a collision course. Most impacts are harmless, burning up as shooting stars, but occasionally, a much larger object breaks through. These rare visitors can unleash energy greater than the most powerful nuclear bombs, causing devastation on a global scale. These rare events have shaped our planet, altered evolution, and left scars lasting millions of years. Craters found across Earth are silent witnesses to these ancient catastrophes, each one telling a story of destruction and renewal. Understanding these impacts is crucial to grasping our vulnerability in the universe. Scientists around the world study past collisions to learn how we might protect ourselves in the future, developing new technologies and strategies to detect and deflect potential threats. So, let's imagine. What if history's most significant asteroid impacts happened today, on October 8, 2025? How would our modern world respond to such unimaginable forces? What would it mean for our cities, our technology, and our way of life? By simulating these catastrophes in our modern world, we can truly appreciate their power and the science behind the devastation. These scenarios help us prepare for the unthinkable and remind us of the importance of vigilance and innovation. This journey will take us from the dinosaur-ending Chicxulub impact to the colossal S2 event, and more. We'll explore the dramatic consequences of these collisions and the lessons they offer for our future. Let's start the clock and see what happens as we step into a universe where cosmic collisions are not just history, but a present-day reality. The Chicxulub impactor, 10 kilometers wide, ended the age of dinosaurs 66 million years ago. This single event marked one of the most dramatic turning points in Earth's history, wiping out nearly 3/4 of all species in a geological instant. The world that existed before the impact was lush, teeming with life, and dominated by giant reptiles that had ruled for over 150 million years. Imagine it striking today, a fireball brighter than the sun, slamming into the Gulf of Mexico with unimaginable force. The sky would ignite, and the shockwave would be felt around the globe within minutes. The sheer spectacle would be both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a reminder of our planet's vulnerability. The impact vaporizes rock and crust, releasing energy equal to billions of atomic bombs. The explosion would send molten debris hurtling into the atmosphere, igniting wildfires across continents and turning day into night. The initial blast alone would be enough to erase entire regions from the map. Cities across Mexico and the southern US would be leveled by a magnitude 10 earthquake. Skyscrapers would crumble, infrastructure would be obliterated, and millions of lives would be lost in an instant. The ground would shake violently, leaving devastation in its wake. Tsunamis over 100 meters high would obliterate coastal cities and race across oceans, devastating continents within days. And these would would surge inland for miles, sweeping away everything in their path, homes, forests, and entire communities, leaving nothing but ruin behind. But the worst comes after. A shroud of dust and soot blocks sunlight for years, plunging Earth into an impact winter. The skies would remain dark, temperatures would drop dramatically, and the world would be gripped by a cold, unending twilight. Temperatures plummet, agriculture collapses, and famine sweeps the globe. Crops would fail, livestock would perish, and food supplies would dwindle rapidly. Societies would struggle to survive as resources became scarce and desperation set in. Photosynthesis halts. Food chains collapse. Humanity faces extinction. The natural world would unravel, with plants dying, animals starving, and ecosystems breaking down. The very foundation of life on Earth would be shaken to its core. This is not just a disaster. It's a planetary reset. The aftermath would reshape the biosphere, paving the way for new forms of life, but at an unimaginable cost to what exists today. The Chicxulub event reminds us how fragile civilization is in the face of cosmic forces. It's a stark warning that, despite our technology and progress, we remain at the mercy of the universe's unpredictable power. If it happened now, our world would be unrecognizable. The cities, cultures, and achievements we take for granted could vanish in a moment, leaving only traces for future generations to discover. The stakes could not be higher. Our survival depends on understanding these threats and preparing for the unimaginable, because the next global cataclysm could arrive without warning. Now, let's go back 3.3 billion years to the S2 impactor, up to 58 kilometers wide, dwarfing Chicxulub. If S2 struck today, it would vaporize oceans and crust, creating a crater over 500 kilometers across. The seismic shock would flatten every city on Earth, regardless of distance. Oceans would boil, marine life would perish, and the sky would turn into a furnace. Molten rock would rain down globally, igniting firestorms and leaving a scorched, barren planet. Toxic gases and acidified oceans would follow, erasing complex life. Unlike Chicxulub, there would be no survivors. Earth would be sterilized. S2 is not just extinction, it's a planetary reboot. Life would have to start over from scratch. 50,000 years ago, during the last ice age, a 50-meter-wide iron asteroid hurtled through space and slammed into what is now Arizona, creating the massive Barringer crater. This ancient scar in the desert is a silent witness to the unimaginable power of cosmic impacts, a reminder that Earth's history is shaped by forces far beyond our control. Imagine if such an asteroid struck today. First, a brilliant fireball would light up the sky, followed by a deafening roar as the asteroid tore through the atmosphere. The resulting explosion would unleash energy equivalent to a 10-megaton nuclear bomb, many times more powerful than the bombs dropped in World War II, and enough to devastate an entire region in an instant. In seconds, a new mile-wide crater would be blasted into the Earth, sending a towering cloud of fire, dust, and debris high into the sky. The shockwave would ripple outward, flattening everything in its path and leaving a barren wasteland where life once thrived. Even towns miles away, like Winslow, Arizona, 30 kilometers from ground zero, would be rocked by a blinding flash, searing heat, and a shockwave powerful enough to shatter windows, topple buildings, and ignite fires. The devastation would be felt far beyond the immediate impact site. Closer to the impact, survival would be impossible. The land would be scorched, the air unbreathable, and nothing would remain of what once stood there. The sheer force of the blast would erase all traces of life in an instant. Now imagine this same impact occurring in the heart of a major city, New York, London, or any global metropolis. The consequences would be catastrophic on a scale almost impossible to comprehend. Skyscrapers would collapse like dominoes, entire neighborhoods would be incinerated, and the shockwave would demolish buildings for miles around. The city's infrastructure, history, and culture would be wiped out in moments. Millions of lives would be lost, and a vibrant cultural hub would vanish almost instantly. The world would be left mourning not just the people, but the loss of a city's identity and legacy. The only difference between a peaceful tourist attraction and a scene of utter catastrophe is simply where the asteroid lands. Fate, not preparation, has spared us so far. Even smaller asteroids like the one that exploded over Chelyabinsk in 2013 can cause widespread damage and injuries. It doesn't take a giant rock to unleash chaos, just the right size, speed, and location. The Barringer event stands as a stark warning. Our planet is always at risk from space. These craters are not just relics of the past, they are reminders of what could happen again. Where an asteroid lands can mean the difference between a minor event and a global disaster. The randomness of these impacts is what makes them so terrifying. Our only real defense is vigilance, watching the skies, tracking near-Earth objects, and preparing for the day when the next warning from the cosmos arrives. In 2017, we spotted Oumuamua, the first known interstellar object. What if it had hit Earth? Picture a few hundred-meter object slamming into the Amazon at 26 kilometers per second. The impact would release a gigaton of energy, gouging a 4-kilometer crater and vaporizing everything nearby. Fires would rage across the rainforest, smoke and ash circling the globe. The Amazon River would run hot and lifeless, and global air travel would halt for weeks. The destruction of the Amazon would disrupt climate and biodiversity worldwide. Not extinction level, but a deep burning scar on the planet's lungs. Even distant visitors can leave lasting marks. Asteroid 2024, YR4, 60 meters wide, once had a 3% chance of hitting Earth in 2032. Imagine it detonating in an airburst over Bogota, Colombia, home to 8 million people. The explosion, 15 megatons strong, would ignite fires citywide and flatten almost every building. The shockwave would turn Bogota into a burning ruin within minutes. No crater, just devastation from the sky. Millions of casualties, a continent destabilized. Even small asteroids can rival nuclear war in destruction. YR4 is a warning. City killers are hard to spot and can strike with little warning. Comprehensive sky surveys are our best hope. We must find these threats before they find us. For most of history, asteroid impacts were unpredictable acts of God. Today, planetary defense is real. We scan the skies with global telescope networks like Atlas. These systems detect moving objects, report them to the Minor Planet Center, and astronomers worldwide track their paths. With enough data, we can predict orbits and assess impact risks years in advance. We found over 90% of civilization-ending asteroids, but smaller threats remain elusive. The challenge is to spot city killers like Behringer or YR4. More powerful telescopes on Earth and in space are essential. Detection is our first and most vital shield. Seeing an asteroid is one thing, deflecting it is another. NASA's DART mission proved we can alter an asteroid's path. In 2022, DART slammed into Dimorphos, a moonlet orbiting Didymos, changing its orbit by 32 minutes. The kinetic impactor technique works. A small nudge, years in advance, can make an asteroid miss Earth by thousands of kilometers. No nuclear bombs, just precision and timing. DART transformed planetary defense from theory to reality. We now have the tools to protect our world. The next step: develop and test more deflection technologies. We are no longer passive, we are active guardians. Our simulations reveal a sobering truth. Asteroid impacts are inevitable, but now, we can prepare. For the first time, humanity has the knowledge and tools to defend Earth. Programs like Atlas and missions like DART mark a turning point. We are no longer victims, but guardians. The work isn't done. We must expand sky surveys, develop new technologies, and collaborate globally. The sky is a shared resource, the threat, a shared danger. Protecting Earth is a mission for all humanity. The story of asteroids is one of destruction, and of human ingenuity. By learning from the past and acting for the future, we build a cosmic shield of science and vigilance. We are the guardians of this blue marble. Our watch has just begun.